How's it going, everyone? Inside of this video we're going to be going through the Google Search Console. Now this was a specially requested video from a subscriber, Jill, so thank you for that. We'll be going through the Search Console in its entirety, so you'll be able to see exactly how to use it to its full extent. That ranges from integrating it with your actual WordPress website. We'll be focused on WordPress, as a majority of you, I will assume, are using WordPress. And also I'll be going through exactly how you can find good keywords with it as well. So ways that you can really increase and optimize your blog for the best optimal SEO traffic. So I'll be going through all of that back-end data, and by the end of the video you know exactly what Google Search Console is and how it can be used to your benefit for your website as well. So make sure you stay tuned, as we're going to get straight into it on the computer. I will showcase the whole video on that, as it's a lot more relevant for me to show you there and you'll be able to see it firsthand. Okay, so we'll get straight into it. How's it going, guys? So in this video we're going to be going through exactly what the Search Console is, and we're also going to check how you can actually use it on your site to your advantage. Okay, so what I want to get into everyone's head watching this video is that Google is just simply like a big spider that crawls the web. So the web is actually your website and all of your different pages, and Google's spider will crawl your pages. So this is how Google would determine on where you should be positioned on Google and how relevant or how helpful your resource is. So the resources being the actual articles or posts that you're putting out on the internet. So that's the way it works in simple format, and it's really easy to understand when you look at it like that. That's exactly how Google kind of operates. So they simply go through and crawl your pages, and that's how they determine exactly where you should belong in the rankings. So that brings us to exactly the question of what is the Google Search Console, because obviously this is a bit of a different name and it has a bit of a different capability to exactly what you may know as the typical Google. Okay, and how is this used for website engineers? So the website engineers are you, whether you like to think of it like that or not. That is the way I like to categorize it, because ultimately you are an engineer of a website and building something that is going to provide some sort of value out to the world. Okay, so I've actually swiped an article from the Google support page itself, and we're just going to go through it together and actually read exactly the correct definition of the Google Search Console. So as you can see here, it says Google Search Console is a free service offered by Google that helps you to monitor, maintain and troubleshoot your site's presence in Google search results. You don't have to sign up for Search Console to be included in Google search results, but Search Console helps you to understand and improve how Google sees your site. Search Console offers tools and reports for the following actions: confirming that Google can find and crawl your site, fix indexing problems and request re-indexing for new and updated content. So what that is basically allowing you to force Google to actually put your page on the internet. So when you post a new piece of content, it will actually force Google to then immediately put it up onto Google's search engine, because if you just kind of write the articles and publish, it may not show up for many weeks up to months or even years, so it's really important that you actually force it to do so. And view Google search traffic and data for your site, how often your site appears in Google search, which search queries show your site, how often searchers click through for those queries, and more. Receive alerts when Google encounters indexing, spam or other issues on your site. Show you which sites are linking back to your website. So that's what we call backlinks in SEO terms. And then troubleshoot issues for AMP. So this is accelerated mobile. I can't remember what the P stands for, but what this is for is basically usability for mobile users, okay, which we're obviously heading towards in the near future as well, being it in 2019, okay, and other search for features as well. So we can see here it says who should use Search Console. So anyone with a website, from generalist to specialist, from newbie to advanced, Search Console can help you. So this basically, as you can see, goes over business owners, SEO specialists and marketers, site administrators and web developers. No matter who you are or what you do, if you're into this field and you're building a site, it's very highly important for you to use Search Console to gather all the data and analytics that you need access to. Okay, so now you should have a clear understanding about what Search Console is. How about we get started with how you actually set it up? And to do so, we're going to need two plugins for this, and these are two easy to install plugins, which is called Really Simple SSL, which is purely used to encrypt the data on your site and protect users from hackers. So that way no one can access the data and rip it away from your site. And this also helps you in the rankings because it provides a secure website connection for anyone that's using it, so it increases your user experience. And then Yoast SEO. Now Yoast SEO is actually a plugin that is used for many different things in regards to your meta description, which is the simply little thing that shows up in the snippet part when your site shows up in a Google search result. So if you don't know what that is, you can simply Google it. I have gone over it in a previous video, the very last video before this. But yeah, so basically what we're going to be using the SEO plugin for is not actually the main fundamental way that it's usually used. So we're going to be using it for a different part, which is the HTML code insert section. So we'll get straight into it anyway. Make sure you stay tuned because we're going to get into the next part. So I'm going to show you exactly how you can physically get in and use this tool. Okay, so that brings us on to the Google search page, I would say, but it's not, because I've actually got this plugin installed. Now many of you may see this and actually ask exactly what this is and how you can get it. So the idea behind this plugin is actually to stop you from being distracted and remain focused on task with whatever it is you set out to do for the day. So say for example you had a few tasks like write blog post, okay, and then you had another one, you could write them all in and then you tick them off. Okay, so that's like the main thing, but you want to just keep the main one thing that you might do for the day inside of this. And what it is, you know, usually you have a lot of recent tabs like YouTube, Facebook. You might click off and go on stuff. When I click new tab, it will just come up with that. And if I've already got like write blog post in there, it's going to keep me very kind of focused in that sense. So if I click that, it's just going to come up with write blog post, you see. So I can't see all of the other stuff. So this is called Momentum for any of you who want to know about that. You can see it up here. It's called Momentum, and that's the Google extension tool, okay? But anyway, so to remain on task, what we're going to do is we're going to set up Google Search Console, okay? So that was the aim of this video, and that's what we're going to do. So what you want to do firstly, initially, is you can type Webmasters, you can type Search Console, anything of the sort, it will bring you to the same website. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click onto that, the first result, and that will bring us to this page here. So what you're going to click is Start. Now, if you haven't registered, you're going to have to register your site, but I've already got a website here, as you can see. So yeah, I basically don't have to, but it can either bring you onto the new platform or the old platform. It's probably going to bring you onto the new one, so I'm going to be showing you in this tutorial how to use it on the new user interface. Okay, so there are some features that I'm not familiar with yet on this new user interface, but for the moment this is what we're going to do. So the first things first, you're going to need to click over in the top left hand corner, and then you're going to need to click Add Property. So this is where you're going to put your website URL into the site. Now before we do this, as I was saying before, as you can see on this website, this is the test website that I used in the WordPress tutorial in the last video. Now if you haven't seen that video, I suggest you go back and then come back and watch this. But yeah, as you can see, it says website is not secure, and that's because we haven't got an SSL certificate installed on this site. Now majority of your website hosting services are going to provide that to you for free. I currently use HostGator and they give it to you within the plan. I do believe many others do as well. But because of that, all we need to do is install a simple plugin, and then with that plugin we can actually then install the SSL certificate. So what I'm going to do is basically go over to plugins and then add new, and then what we're going to type in to this is the SSL certificate. Okay, so SSL, simple SSL, it's something like that. Yeah, so this is it here. It just popped up. Really simple SSL. We're going to click install, and then after it installs, we're going to click activate. So that's the next thing we're going to do. And what this will do is it will redirect our HTTP, which is not protected, not secure connection, to a HTTPS, which S stands for secure. Okay, so as you can see, this says, you know, not secure, and all we're going to click is go ahead and activate SSL. Okay, so now that's activated, let's go over to the plugin and just make sure that that's done correctly. So installed plugins, I've just gone over to the left again, and it's logged me out, so that's correct. That's what it's supposed to do. So now I'm going to have to re-log in, and it should be a secure connection. So just going to click save for that to save that. And as you can see, it's now a secure connection, and you can see the valid certificate there as well. Okay, so this site is now secure and encrypted, so hackers will have a hard time getting any sensitive information. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're also going to install the plugin called Yoast SEO. So we're just going back over to this section over here, then we're going to type Yoast and then SEO. So let me just go down here. Okay, we'll just wait for that to load, and then we're going to click install, and then we're going to activate that plugin as well. So we're going to click activate here. Okay, and these are just the two plugins that we ideally need at the beginning. So if you again haven't watched my first website tutorial video, then I suggest you go back. It was the very last video that I posted. You can go and check and see the full WordPress tutorial on how to set up a website. If by any means you're confused at what I'm doing here, then I suggest you go back to the last video of where you'll be able to see exactly how to build a WordPress website, and then this will all start to make sense. Okay, so we'll get on to the next part of the video, and what we're going to do is we're going to go back over to the search console, and then we're going to integrate your website with it so you can get the data on the search console. Okay, so the first things first, on this website here, we're going to go to settings, general, and now we've actually got the HTTPS. So we've got the exact domain name that we would like. Now you can add a www here and whatever, it will log you back out. I suggest that you don't. This is one of the kind of things that I made a mistake on my site initially. It's a lot easier for people to remember, and it's a lot more kind of easy on the eyes if it doesn't have the w dot. Okay, so what you can do is just have https // and then your website domain dot obviously com or whatever you've got. I suggest, like I said in the last video, you always have a .com. Okay, so we're going to copy this, and the reason why I bring you here is because people get this wrong, so they miss out something and stuff like that. So to avoid that error, just simply come over to settings, general, and then just copy the exact domain name, and we're going to put that into this tool here. So as we come over to here, you can see this is the exact domain. Then we're going to click continue. Okay, so right now it's verifying, and then it gives us this option. So when you get to this point here, it's going to give you the option of downloading a HTML file, or it will give you the option of other verification methods, which is HTML tag. So that's the one we're going to use, add meta to our site's homepage. So we're going to copy that. Okay, and what we're going to do is, so what we're actually going to do instead of the SEO plugin is we're going to use install headers and footers. So this is the exact plugin that I initially used. So it's going to be insert headers and footers, and this is going to be the plugin that we actually use to integrate the search console with your website initially. Okay, so you will be able to get the data through the Yoast SEO plugin later, but we first have to insert this into the head of the website homepage. So we've installed that plugin. Then what we're going to do is go to install plugins. Okay, and then when we go down, insert headers and footers is there. Brilliant. Okay, then we're going to go over to settings, insert headers and footers, and then what we're going to do is go back to search console. Sorry, I think I've just let that go down for some reason, not sure why. So we're going to go to here, And what we're going to do is get that information, the meta tag again. So we're going to get that, copy it, and then what we'll do is we're going to put this in the header. So we're going to paste that and click save. Okay, so that's now saved, and then we're going to come back over to here and click verify. So this should now verify the... Okay, so what's really interesting is my site had a coming soon displayed up here. You have to unlock that in order for this to work. It wouldn't work, as you just saw, because it had coming soon up here. So you click that and then you basically click go live and you make the site live. Then when you come back and you actually go back to where you was, so we were on headers and footers, and we'll paste the actual registration in there. So I'm just gonna actually re-add that site because I had to delete it again, so that's why I just went to general. Let me just add it back in. Okay, so really interesting. What's really interesting is it wouldn't work until I activated the website, and then it decided to work. So you will need to make sure that your site is live in order for this to work, and once that's done, you'll have access to all of this information. So this means nothing at the moment because this site has no data, so it's saying check back in a few days. So what I can do for an example purpose is show you a site that is live. So if we were to go over to just say for example this here, what you can see is that it shows you all of this data. Now there's some of the data that's new and good inside of the new user interface, and then there's some data that's actually missing out of the new user interface. So I like to go over to the old version and I'll go through that with you, and then you can sometimes click over to the new one if it's not available on the old style. So here we have messages. This is for any messages that they feel is relevant and you need to know of about your site. So you'll see that from Google here, and if it's saying there's always going to be one message like a fault or something saying improve your search presence, yeah, so that's always, you're always going to see this little caution sign here as well. That's always going to be there with an error that it wants you to improve your site presence or whatever else, yeah, so don't worry about it, it's completely fine. Now the next thing is going to be structured data. I think you can only see this on the new. Okay, yeah, so you can see this here, and this is going to show you just a little bit of information about the data or any errors on your website. Then you've got rich cards and all of these different analytics. I would mess about with these and see what they do. I don't personally use them. It's not that relevant to you, especially as a beginner. Then you've got accelerated mobile pages. So that's the one we was talking about earlier, AMP, and that's purely to help improve your speed with mobile. Okay, we've got HTML improvements. Yeah, I don't use that. Then we've got search traffic. So this is one of the most important tabs. This shows you exactly what keywords you're showing up for and getting impressions for on the Google search engine. So this actually is only available on the new report now. So what we can see here is any sort of views that you're getting from different keywords. So any queries that are being typed into Google and you're showing up for, it will show you how many clicks you have, impressions, so on and so forth. And then you can also highlight these tabs and it will show you like the click-through rate and also the average position of where you are for that specific keyword. Now when your site is more seasoned, you'll have a list of all different keywords inside of here, and these are the ones that you can potentially target later on. So even when you haven't targeted them, you'll see a list of all different keywords that your site seems to show up for, and it might be like position 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever. If you're getting a lot of impressions for it, it's worth targeting those keywords specifically to try and rank a certain post for them. Okay, and then you can change the date and alternate that to whenever that suits you, and then obviously you can change this to web, image, video. And then we've got the next tab, which is basically the links to your site. So here you can see all of the links that are going back to your site. So I'm actually going to open these in the new tab. I'm not that familiar yet with the new user interface, but we can go through it together. So this will show you all of the pages that are linked. So you can hover over the question marks and it will show you pages in your property linked from external pages. So these are all the external pages that are backlinking to your website. Then these are top linking sites. So these are the sites that are top, like, you know, higher in authority, I would take it, that are linking back, okay, outside your property to your property, yeah. And then top linking text. So this will be the anchor text that's linking back to your site. So you know, the actual like hyperlink, all of those, it will be like the top linking ones that are coming back, that are bringing the most traffic or authority back to your website. So you'll be able to see what words are performing best, whether it's a branded keyword or it might be the actual name of the author. You know, whatever links that are the most powerful, it will be listed here. And you can always see that by actually hovering over the question mark just here. Now you've also got on the next part of this the internal links. So this will show you all of the internal linking amongst your site. So what pages are linking to where. You've got manual actions. I don't really use that, but we can check that out on the new user interface. So it's saying no issues detected. So that will obviously tell you if there's any issues on your site. Mobile usability, again, this is just good to get familiar with. We'll just open that in a link in a new tab. Okay, so this is going to show you if you've got any errors in regards to mobile friendly pages. So you can see here, this is just valid. It's perfectly fine for mobile. And then we've got Google indexing. So this is showing you what pages on your website have been indexed. So that means what pages are actually on Google's search engine. So it will show you how many of them are valid. So you can see here indexed in sitemap. So this is just showing that, you know, there's 5 pages on this site indexed on the actual Google search engine. Okay, so that will be like on this little, this is just a web 2.0. It would be like probably the about me page, contact page, one home page, and whatever else I created on there. Then you've got blocked resources. Okay, so these are any blocked resources coming back. So Google obviously might have been blocked like for a specific problem or something, and they can't get to a certain link or page. So it will be able to show you those problems here. Then remove URLs. I have never used this personally. Then this is one of the most important ones. So this is crawl and fetchers crawl. So these are the most important. So you've also got sitemaps here, and I'll be basically doing a part 2 to this video, teaching you exactly how to set up a sitemap and what sitemaps are used for. But inside of this video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about crawl errors. So this is going to show you whether the Google Spider is experiencing an error trying to crawl your website. So anything that's broken, like broken links and whatever else, that's going to show up here. Then you're going to see crawl statistics. So it's going to show you how many times on average per day that Google's bot is crawling your little site and whatever. You know, this might go really high and whatever else, you know, depending on how many. So it's showing you how many kilobytes are downloaded per day from your site and whatever else. Then fetches Google. So this is how you index the pages. Okay, so for example, if I created a new page on my site, let's say, for example, we go over to the same site where we was before. So let's go back over to the new user interface, and then let's go to the site that we were using. So for example, if we wanted to actually index a page, we could go to Google crawl, and then fetches Google, and this will allow me to index a page. So if I had this website here, and also I would recommend that you sort out your pages on this thing, because it can get quite messy. So, you know, like if you go to settings and permalinks, I suggest that you keep it to just post name, so this one here, and then save it. What it is, otherwise you have all this extra crap like in the additional link. You don't want all of that. You just want it to be exactly what the post is. So we're going to click post name and save. Okay, so that will allow it to stay clean and also easy for Google to understand. So then what we're going to click is posts, and then just say, for example, we wanted to add a new post. So just say we're going to call this test page. So test page, and then you always want to click save draft at first. This is where you would do like all of your editing and whatever else. I mean, you might have the new editor. as well. So you can see all of this here. So I don't want that. Let me just have a look if that's actually worked properly. So I'm going to go back to permalinks because that I don't want that, the date and all of that. See, so it's still set on custom for some reason. I'm going to go back to post name and save. Okay, so that should be done now. And then we're going to go over to post name. Then we're going to go to edit. Okay, so as you can see, it's just the blog name and then / test page. That's exactly how I want it, nice and clean. So we're going to, how you actually index a page is once you publish this page. So once this is published, what you're going to want to do is click edit and then copy that. You want to copy that hyperlink, okay, and then hyperlink that permalink, sorry. Then you're going to want to place that inside of this area here, and then you put the /. If you do not put the /, it's not going to work. I'll give you an example without the /. You want to do this for desktop and mobile. So first, when you click desktop, fetch, and then when you click fetch, you can see here it's got an error and it says redirected. You don't want that. You want it to look like this, and then /, and then click fetch. Now it's going to work, okay? Complete. Then you're going to do the same / again for mobile. So you're going to want to do it for both of them. You're going to do it twice every time. I don't know if other people just do it on desktop or whatever. I do it for both of them. Then click request indexing. So this is requesting Google's bot to crawl your site. Then you're going to click I'm not a robot. Then click I'm crawl this URL only. Yeah, and then click go. And that's it. And then you do the same for that. Sorry, I was a bit too fast there. That's it. So that is it. Like literally these 2 pages you'll see pop up within the next couple of hours on the SERP tool. So if I was like basically tracking this page, say for example in my keyword search tool, I would go over and I would basically be able to see exactly where I am showing in the results for this page. So I'm sure many of you know what SERPs do, but this is like my site. So if I was to add a URL, I could add the site. So this is the actual one I use. So I'm going to go over to settings, general, and then going to copy that in and let's enter that. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add some keywords. So let's add that keyword. It was test page, wasn't it? So we're going to click test page. Let's see if it shows up yet. And like I said, you'll be in this sandbox thing, so it might not show up for a while, but we're going to click refresh on it and see if it shows up yet. That's actually quite a high volume keyword. Yeah, so I'm not going to show up in the ranks yet, so I'm not even in the top 100. It's just not seen, and that's expected for something of that high competition for a brand new site. But that's it. That's exactly how it would work, and you'd be able to track it inside of this tool and whatever. It will show you like all of the positions where you're ranked and whatever. And then you've got like the robots txt. That's in regards to your sitemap to make sure that that's done properly, and you'll find all of that out in the next video. Then this is security issues, which you can just basically mess around with and see what it does. And that's it, guys. So by now you should basically know how to use Search Console. The main concept of it, of where you be coming in, is to force index pages. So you'll be coming down to crawl, fetchers, Google, and then you'll be placing your URL with the / inside of it. You would have already put this in correctly, exactly copied from your site, and it would be well integrated because you would have activated your website and made it live, so the integration goes through correctly. Okay, and then in regards to you'll force index those pages, and then the next thing you'll be using it for is search analytics. So you'll be able to see exactly where you're ranking for certain keywords and whatever, and you'll be able to target those keywords later on. Okay, and that's it in a nutshell. So I hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please leave a like below, and like as always, if you're new, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.